No, it's the best. I love it. I love when I get saran wrapped. Happy time zone, everybody, and I'm trying not to kill everybody's sound with my happy because I keep doing that. And welcome back to Watching Now, where we are discussing season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Today we're going to be talking about episode 7. What is Starfleet? What is Starfleet
What
indeed?
is Starfleet?
It's a
Yeah.
fleet in the
What
stars.
is Starfleet? Is it but a name? I
Yeah.
don't know. My name is Michelle, and I will be hosting again today. And as always, I have the lovely Tim and the normally talkative Drew. How are we doing
Yes.
today, Tim?
I am surviving. It is another week.
Same.
Week down, weeks
So
at
same.
end, and I'm happy. But I'm happy to be here talking about the possibilities of what Starfleet is.
How
Yeah.
are you doing today, Drew?
I'm good. I feel like we're broken individuals, and I think
We are.
if all we need is Starfleet to take us in and under the wing and turn us into soldiers of war, or I don't know, or something like that. Who knows? But like, yeah, I feel you guys. I'm a little. It's like Friday, right? And
Yeah.
usually I think we're a little bit more energized, and I think the episode has us down. But let's lift it up, and maybe we could find the glimmer of hope, the diamond in the rough, maybe of what this episode was trying to maybe achieve, and then we can go from there.
I think we're more broken individuals after the episode
Yeah.
than before the episode.
I
Fair.
like how Drew
Yeah.
pointed out the Beatles were a bunch of liars. They said all we need is love. He's like, all we need is Starfleet.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that makes
All you need.
a little more sense.
Wow. Tim, is that how your brain works? Because that was pretty good.
You don't want to know how my brain actually works, so let's just go on to another
Got it.
topic. We don't got that kind of time or
right.
therapeutical degrees. So
I do want to make it clear to our audience that there will be spoilers moving forward. So if you don't want to know anything about it, too late because it is not good. Otherwise, we're going to just boldly go on. If you don't want to know anything about it, just stop watching. So let's go ahead and get initial reactions. Tim, what did you think?
I clearly didn't dislike it as much as you. But I'm not running down the streets asking all my neighbors, did they watch the latest episode of Strange New Worlds either. There's parts of the episode that I liked, and there's a lot that I was just like, well, this is odd. And yeah, it had potential, but I think that they got up to the door of potential, and they were like, yeah, this is close enough. We can stop now.
Yeah, you're right.
That's enough of this.
I think you nailed it. It was like, there was like, we have a great idea here, but we're just going to execute it very poorly.
Right?
Yeah, it was like, imagine if a college student had zero abilities were to make a documentary on Starfleet.
Yeah.
Or like,
I mean, can we not?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, this episode, yeah, I mean, if we're going straight into spoilers, I mean, like, the episode sort of poses this idea of it opens with this weird docu style, and it has like, which part of me like was kind of cool. I'm seeing stats on the Enterprise.
I was kind of
like,
excited
crew
about that.
compliment. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, cool, 2 photon torpedo banks, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, no, cool, yeah, stats, size, width, crew complement and all that. And I'm like, okay, I'll see where this is going. Maybe this could be interesting. And then it just started doing the interviews of the people, and I'm like, oh, this is not good.
This is not good.
This is this kind of episode. And my wife is funny. She's sitting there. She's like, I hate these kind of episodes, right? Like, and every TV show does these sort of like, we're going to mix it up. We're going to try something new. Like, I think The Rookie's done this several times where like the whole episode is shot on like cop body cams.
Yes.
To get like the real version of like what it's,
I
and
mean,
I'm
but
like,
that's
oh, this
exciting.
it's obnoxious. Like, cause you're just like,
Got it.
you lose the drama. Like, I mean, it might be exciting for you, but for me, and I think my wife is the same way. It's like you can't. There's a reason we like watching TV shows shot the way they're shot, cinematically, is because
Hmm.
we want that escapism.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to bring in this docu style realism because that's not what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't sign up for this. Is sort of my
Yeah.
first sort of impression on it all. But I mean, that's my just sort of like blunt take. It's there's nuggets of, I could see what they were trying to do. There's some really good thematic
Yes.
things in here. A war between two people, one's getting decimated. They're using a weird alien as a
Space
weapon.
dragon.
Yeah, and there's like moral conflicts on like what is Star, like there's like really big questions being asked, which is what I'm here for when we talk about Star Trek. But there's like a lot of it in this episode, and none of it lands like very well, because there's too many things, and the way it's executed is just all over the place. So we're lost. We don't get any emotional resolution. So that's my TED talk.
So
I think you nailed it with the phrase of saying, I didn't sign up for this. That's literally exactly how I feel. I didn't sign up for any of this. What is
yeah,
this?
I get that. I think for me though, just listening to what Drew had just said, I co-sign the thing about the whole body cam thing. If I want to watch something like that, I'm going to watch Cops. Okay, so um,
Right.
if I want to watch poorly navigated films, I'll watch something on TikTok, because that's what I make. And then the thing that disappointed me the most about this episode, and the reason why I feel like we parked at the edge of potential, is that if you're going to do this in a docu style, I would have been totally down with it being a completely documentary style shoot of what's happening on the Enterprise, and then having the interviews and all those things. But the fact that we kept jumping back and forth between docu style and us trying to do something Trek-ish, kind of bugged me. So I liked the concept. I just think that, like I said, I think we parked right on the edge of potential and just left it there. And I think that if they would have either pick a lane, if they would have taken it as a Star Trek a true Trek episode, would have been good. I think if they would have gone docu style, I think it would have been good. But we're kind of in a this weird mix somewhere, fluxed in the middle.
I agree with you both. I think it would have been an awesome episode had it been a standalone episode. Had it not been the documentary style docu bullshit. The Star Trekkiness was there. Like you said, Drew, like two battling species are using freaking basically intergalactic Mothra,
Yeah.
space dragon.
Yes.
Mothra, where
And
do you
then
know
there's
that name?
bringing like yeah, they're bringing like the humanitarian aspect to the Enterprise, and it had it. It had it. And then they handed it, like you said, they handed it over to like some college student that was like, "Hey, yeah, I'll do that," and then turned it into like a freaking commercial, like "We are here," and they're like marching.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
Yeah. I'm always, it's hard for me too, because I get the need. I like Strange New Worlds. They do take big risks, right, and bold
That's true.
narrative structural risks too. Like we've seen even shit already in this season with the murder mystery style thing, and like the musical episode, right? The episode where they bring in the lower decks cast in. Like they've
loved it.
been it's a Star Trek show that I feel like is taking bigger swings than I think any Star Trek's done before. So I'm usually pretty like forgiving, I think. But gosh, this was just really, the documentary just was not well executed. Like it was really like, I don't know, like I wouldn't even like, if this was actually a real documentary, I wouldn't even submit this for awards. I'd be like embarrassed. Like it didn't do anything. Like it
Right.
was too much of five different story beats that it was like thematic beats that it was trying to achieve, and to try to accomplish that. And I think that's what makes really good documentaries is they film a lot of shit and then they cull it all down into one thematic thing that they're
Correct.
Right.
trying to
Ron,
get across.
essential timeline.
Right. And this sort of changed thematic themes, throughout it, right? It was sort of like about like it opened with is the Federation an empire or a
Right.
peacekeeper, and then it turns into this sort of like not about it kind of wraps it brings it back to that at the end, but the whole middle bit is about this alien and how and treating aliens and as a weapon for war yeah, and then they had this moral dilemma with like what we don't know what the mission is, why, and it was just a lot. It was a lot, and it
Yeah.
was hard to come across through all this like butt cam footage, hiding behind walls, watching people whispering to each
Are you
other in
recording?
corners, like where everyone has a secret
Yeah.
that they're trying to keep. I don't know.
I
I didn't buy it.
I think that like we're looking at this and all of the assessments I think are spot on so far. I think too that there are a good couple things that do come out of this episode, and we could talk about those now or we can talk about those later.
No,
if-
yeah. Let's
Go
talk about it
ahead.
because I
Yeah,
think
let's talk about 'em.
yeah, because there is some good things.
Yeah.
I agree, Tim. Let's talk about it
'Cause-
because I know I'm hot to trot to flush this down the toilet, but I agree there is a lot to.
Yeah.
I think you could pull some
Yeah.
really good stuff out of
Oh,
it.
I
I
don't.
think okay, so I mean we look at what's his name, the recorder guy, Beto.
Betos.
Betos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Betos
Yeah,
Ortega's.
Ortega's brother. So for a few episodes I'm like, why is this dude here? What's going on? What is he filming? So we're kind of getting a little bit of idea of where his mindset is going into this. And it's clear that the beginning of this documentary, he's on a I hate Starfleet rant. And that's why everything is so negative and what's going on. And then so we kind of find out at the end is that he's just mad at Starfleet because his sister left him by himself. And, so I'm taking that as I'm taking it as a win, Michelle. I finally got to figure out what the dude was there for, even if I think that his reasons were very 12 years old and juvenile. But for me, it was kind of good to see that he was there for more reasons than just to try to smash Uhura. Which that was also very clear is what he's trying to do. He's been chasing after that for a couple episodes now.
Yeah.
But I think that's one good pull out that we get from this is that we see that there's finally a reason as to why this dude is here, why he's going on all the missions, why he's so it's not just that, oh golly, wouldn't it be fun to be able to have like somebody come film everything we do, that there was actually a documentary getting made.
Yeah, except there was none of the previous episodes he was in it.
What do you mean? He was in some of the episodes.
Yeah, but
I
the
get what she's
footage
saying.
that he filmed was
Oh.
not.
None of the footage. You're right. Okay, I did not pick up on that last night, but now that you mentioned that, it was like massive light bulb went off, and it's like, nope, we're just showing this one episode. Has nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, I take it back. Screw
Does that
it.
mean it's gonna
Screw
happen
it.
again?
All right, I changed
Yeah.
my mind. Beto is a punk and shouldn't have been in the episode. All right, next.
Yeah.
Well, just like the drama, I could not with the drama. I tell you, the thing that really it broke me down was when it was Uhura like having some interview or whatever, and she walked out, and you heard like the like fake cry. I was just like, what? Literally, this Tim is right. This is the CW. This is what's happening. Clearly, this is a documentary made for the CW on Starfleet Academy,
Yeah.
or just Starfleet, not even the Academy. It would have been maybe a bit more exciting if it was on the Academy.
Yeah. I guess I kept thinking like, oh man, this is the 23rd century, and editing is still this bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
I feel like
I
the
was
editing that I'm going to do for this episode is going to be better than what we watched last night.
Yeah, I was just sort of like, and then there was also a moment where I was like, there's like cameras in the weirdest places. There's like a armchair camera that at the in the captain's chair that like goes right up like Pike's nose.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. There's no armchair camera. That's just not a thing.
And why do
I'm
we only get this much of Pike, but everybody else we get like full on video, but we can only see this much of his face?
You will enjoy his eyebrows, and you will like them very much.
Yeah.
As he stares into your soul.
Yeah, and I like how like they had to like this footage was declassified or whatever because he gets kicked out of the bridge when like shit starts to hit the storm, and then it goes like to like this footage from the bridge was like declassified for this documentary or whatever. I'm like, what is
I was
happening? Like you're. I'm just like I was just
okay.
like
I wanted to bring that up.
shaking my
I'm
head.
so glad you mentioned that because I was going to bring that up. That how is it that we're in the 23rd, 24th, whatever century we're in, and we still have the camera that has the megapixels of a toaster oven inside of the on the bridge? How is that a thing? Because when they switch to
The
that
overhead.
overhead
The
camera
overhead.
and it's looking down
Yeah.
and everything's flashing red, and number one standing there next to the chair very dutifully. Um, and I'm just like, wow, that's not even a little bit in focus.
Yeah, it's like an elevator camera.
Dude,
Like you
elevator
would find
camera
in
would have
like
been
an
better. I just
yeah,
All those
yeah.
CCTV
right.
footages that you can't see of the
Yeah.
last known footage of this
You know,
person. And it's like
exactly. That's kind of
Trump.
what it felt like to me. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, they don't want to use up all the computer memory because you know what happened last time. The holodeck got turned on. The ship almost exploded. So they're pretty cautious about pixel size.
And they're down some nacelles, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're running on empty. So
Yeah. No, I hear you. I do. Again, I think I thought what the that war between the two species. I'm blinking. I think one was called the
It
Luxian or
was
something, or the
started with an L, and I looked it up earlier, but now I forget. So I'll have to look it up.
Lutani. Was it
the
Lutani?
Lutani,
Lutani.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the Kassar. That's what I have here in my notes.
Kassar, yes.
Wow,
Yeah,
you took
and
notes?
yeah, I know. And like,
I take
I
notes
thought it was cool
also.
because it shows like the death count, like the Kassar or like the Latani, like lost like 9 million or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and the Latani lost like 9,000. Like the scale, and so you kind of understand the Latani. I think like they're desperate. Like they're just desperate to have anything. And this is interesting. This is great Star Trek,
Very
like
Trek at that point.
like very trick. It's sort of like in like if you were to like the allegory here would be like the war with Israel and Hamas or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the death count there, right? So I'm starting to like, oh man, this is cool. This is really great stuff. And then like weaponizing an alien species and like rewriting its like training it to hate and be for war, and something so beautiful too, right? Like the juxtaposition of that. It kind of reminded me of the very first TNG episode, Farpoint, right, where
Mm.
that
Yes.
jellyfish thing kind of comes out and
Mm-hmm.
everybody thinks it's like this dangerous being, and it's like it's not, right? Like if you communicate with it and find a way, or like the crystalline being, I forget, from TNG
Mm-hmm.
too. Like that's a thematic thing I like these things, and it looked really cool. It looked like this like iridescent, like it's almost something from Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, or
Right.
something like very very bioluminescent and really cool. It had this like could like tear apart a ship, and I was like, this is badass, like this is cool
Yeah.
Star Trek. And then it would cut to this like bad camera footage or like this docu, like, and I'm like, oh man, like why like I really want this to, like, this would have been a great episode as like just a
Oh, for
standalone
sure.
solid. There was everything was here. If you just get rid of the what is Starfleet, this is a solid story to be told, like what's going
I
on
agree.
Mm-hmm.
just in the episode. So I keep coming back to like they just try to cram too much into here. And it's like they tried too hard to make this interesting when they didn't need to.
Sometimes I think this episode
Well,
suffers from the you can have too much of a good thing.
Yep.
So we've got, like you were saying, Drew, we got this great story, and it was very Trek between what's happening between these two populations, and we see the way that Pike is on the deck, and he's being very very captainly, and what we would think of a Starfleet captain, and all these different things, and the way that this should happen. If they would have left out the docuseries, there's two ways they could have gone about this. They could have put out the docuseries as like a, you know, an extra footage type fun thing, and that probably would have been better for them to do something along those lines, and then take the
hmm.
rest of this and make it an episode. Because the parts that were the Star Trek feel episodes were very Star Trek, and it was very enjoyable. And I would love to see this episode without all the docu stuff in it. I think that if we could go to that and expand on that story, because Uhura, using her ability to talk to, her linguistics ability to be able to talk to this Mothra thing, and all the different stuff that happens on the opposite side of the "Are you filming me?" Of the docu-series is really good, but it's the docu-series that kind of gets in its own way, and it kind of tears down the episode a little bit. So where we could have had a fun episode, or a really good episode, we're with a it's a middle of the road episode. It's not it's not what could have been, and I think that's the most disappointing part about this episode. Is I think we're all just coming right back around to that. Is that of the what could have been, where this could have gone, because this could have been a landmark episode for Strange New Worlds, in my opinion, based on what we're seeing between these two species and how they're affecting one another. And I love the bit with Pike standing in front of the camera talking to the Lutani guy, and like, you don't want to do that. You fight with one of us, you fight with all of us. And I was like, oh, it's about to get on. I'm like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, nope, we're back in the docu-series. Okay, never mind. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah, so thank you for going ahead and segueing that. We did bring up Captain Pike, and his interviews were annoying.
Oh, hey.
Mostly because of his camera angles.
I did that. It's a thing.
But the captaining of the ship in this episode was very Star Trek. So, specifically, what did you think, Drew, of the humanity that he showed to Intergalactic Mothra?
What do you mean? Like Pike?
Well,
Pike?
so, yes.
Pike's like the yeah. Well,
So the way that he was able to kind of talk down the aliens and then release Mothra, essentially, Space Dragon, is something that Starfleet is kind of looking for, but they were also going against their orders. So what did you think of that entire scenario?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, Pike technically never went against orders. He even said, he's like, I talked to when they got, and despite their frustration, they've agreed to let the, I think it was a Jakaru or whatever alien, like, euthanize itself basically in the sun.
The Jakaru,
yeah. So he never really disobeys orders, even though he sort of is struggling with that thought, right? Like he knows what he's probably doing here. He's struggling with the orders, just like everybody is on the ship. I think they're kind of all questioning, and Beto's not helping because he's running around like, why are you doing this? What's going on? What are we doing? Like, he's like the annoying little guy, like in the back of your head, like, why
are there weapons?
You helping these people?
Why are there weapons?
Yeah. Well,
he's Colin Creevy from Harry Potter with his camera.
Yeah, pretty much. And everybody's like swatting him away like a fly. But again, I think just leaning into kind of, it's just over. It's like the episode felt like it's beating with a club on the themes rather than kind of like me just watching a character struggle, right? Like if I could just see Pike struggling with the choices that are being made, I get that, right? Like we would already get that. We don't need like the thematic club on our heads beating us with it over and over and over again. So I thought it was great. Like, again, I think that struggle, I think that Pike was dealing with, and I didn't quite buy the like, part of me was laughing because it's like Uhura was already really sympathetic to the thing's cause, and she's like hooked up to this device. And part of me was like, could she just be like lying? Like, yes, I'm communicating with it. It's telling me to stop.
Right.
Whatever. I'm like, you have zero telepathic abilities that I know of. So I don't know. Like, part of me is like, is she just telling everybody what they want to hear? Like, in my mind, I had this really weird moment where I'm like, is she just lying to everybody right now? Like,
it says the burrito needs 2 more minutes in the microwave.
yes. Also, I don't want to clean on latrine duty anymore. It says that's not good for my hair.
Tomorrow morning I am sleeping in. Thank you.
Yeah. Pike's like, yeah, whatever she says. Clearly, the alien is speaking to her. There was like zero doubt on anybody's mind that this was like real. So I was like, whatever, I guess. So
that's funny.
I'm having this whole like slew of images like go through my head of all the things. Like a week later, she's like just like holds her fingers up to her head and goes, Oh, we're not having PB&J for lunch today. The alien said we have to have ham and cheese.
Everyone's like, "Whoa, the alien wants ham and cheese. You gotta get him
Hey,
these.
hey.
It could destroy us in any moment with its impulse or whatever it was doing."
Whatever.
Sorry. I know I keep ragging on this episode, but again, there's some good parts, and the Pike struggling with the morality of following orders, and the decision, obviously the right decision was to let the alien be free to fly itself into the sun via a la Superman.
Okay.
You are free to do as you wish.
Yeah,
Die.
yeah. Listen, if that's your prerogative, Space Mothra, then fly yourself on into the sun. We salute you.
Am I the only one who thought it was hilarious, though, that the space moth flew into the bright light? They bug zapped her.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
and all I can see
it would have done that anyway.
It's the movie. It was the movie Bugs or Bugs Life. It's so pretty.
Bugs Life.
Don't go into the light, Mothra. Too late. It's so pretty. Yeah, I just even last night I'm watching. I was like, oh, they're letting. Okay, cool. They're gonna let it go live its life. Wait a minute. Why is it flying to the light?
Stay away from the light.
So anyway,
because it's a moth, so that's why. So I would actually like to know, what do you think? You know what? No, I want to do a different question that I was thinking about, because we brought up Uhura talking to Mothra, or Space Dragon, whatever you want to call it. That was pretty cool, right? Like, if she can communicate with something like that, that's going to open a lot of doors and possibilities for other things to be able to communicate. But why haven't we seen something like that before?
Because they didn't think about it before, and then they put the little telepathy things on her head, and they put the nose bleeders on her head, and she was able to talk to everything. I don't know. I do like the idea of where this could go for future use. If in her study of linguistics, she's able to tap into something, and in her training that allows her to be able to do this, I mean, it makes it so there's other creatures and species and things that she can talk to along the way. I would like it to not be as cheesy moving forward, though. I thought it was a little cheesy, that all of a sudden, it was kind of like when you have a movie where the one person's been abducted by the bad guy, and they're like, I know his plans. That's kind of what I felt like with this, was that she's laying on the bed and like looks up at him bed, like, I can do this. I know her plans. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of potential for something like that moving forward, and I think it could be a very good thing as part of her storyline, but it just has to be executed.
We also had Ortega's working on a motorcycle like Tom Paris and Voyager.
Yeah.
Or she was basically Star Trek Maverick. That's what was happening to me, in my opinion. That's what was happening.
Totally. Yeah, like she's in her quarters and like constantly like working on we don't even know what it is. You don't even know. I wish at the end of the episode I was like wondering like, well, are they going to show like she built like a hover bike? I don't like. I'm like, what is this thing?
Also, why do you need a motorcycle on the Enterprise?
I don't know. I don't.
Where are you getting the gasoline to run it?
Well, I mean, it's a hover bike. It runs on, like...
Wow, we're speculating a lot.
Yeah, who gives a shit? That's true. Yeah, we are speculating.
I mean, if we're going to do like a crossover, can we get like a hoverboard from Back to the Future?
It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid.
We should just put Ortegas and Tom Cruise together, just at least for a picture.
Yeah.
No, they're about the same height. So.
Yeah, this is another episode that just didn't do Ortegas any favors. She just came across as
nothing.
Like total, like, go away, like, really, like, I get it. They're trying to, like, little brother, you're bothering me. I don't want to answer your dumb questions.
Yeah.
But it was just a lot of that. Like,
that's not how it came across.
But
yeah, and then, yep.
But the good thing that we pull out of this, we also see that she is still struggling from her Gorn episode. They talk about the hand and what's going on with the hand, and her own impersonal struggles inside. What's going on there. So I think that
I feel like you're reaching really hard.
I am. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to throw a life vest out to this sinking ship, and
I don't want to shoot him in the knees and get it done.
Shoot him in the knees.
but I
You know they have a stun setting. Yeah, I'll just keep
stun
bringing
him
that
in the
up.
knees.
Yep.
Stun him in the
It's
knees.
because it was hilarious to me. So
But
I'm
no, I
just gonna keep
just
it
think
up.
that I think there was a couple of things in even though it was with her little brother and her clearly annoyed with questions from her little brother about her Star Trekishness, her Federationness, because that was pretty clear. But there were points where we do see her in like when she's clearly using her Star Trek issued Snap-on toolbox, and talking with to the camera where she's like, well, the hand's fine, I'll be fine, and she's like, I just have to ignore it, and but I think that it's little things like that. I'm looking for little things like that where I go, okay, in an episode like this, hopefully there's something that I can take where this helps jump off and lead off into something else for future upcoming episodes, because we've been talking about the potential of what's going to happen with Ortegas because of the Gorn. With a couple episodes back, she was looking in the seeing her reflection in the window, and there was a Gorny Gorn in the window with her, and and all that stuff. And now she's talking about her hand, and there's some issues there. And is that going to affect how she flies the ship and how she does her tasks? And will she be able to turn her wrench on her super cool motorbike that's clearly not gas powered?
It ends up being like a microwave or something she's building, not like
I actually drifted off, and I have no idea what we're talking about.
Michelle's like, ask me how much I don't care right now.
No, I'm kidding, Tim. I hear you. I do. Then we got a lovely dinner, which, to be fair, I love the galley in the Enterprise in this series. It looks so cool, and I love that they make it a priority to make sure that they spend time in there and like show it. I like
that's
that.
Pike's quarters. That's not even a galley. That's just fucking.
No, it's not. You're right.
Mhm.
Those
That's
are
just
Pike's
him.
quarters, and I
That's
love.
That's the captain's quarters. Like everyone's like, yeah, you got it good.
That's just him cooking and throwing down.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which
That's
I love
pretty
that he opens that to his crew, which he has in previous seasons. I just like that they're continuing that.
good. Yeah. Although I will say, like, everyone's quarters are quite large. I noticed,
They
like on the
are,
ship.
yes.
Like I remember, look, Pelia's quarters was like the size of like. I was like, this is like a big. You've got a lot of space, girl. And then we're in Ortega's quarters, and I was
Space
like,
girl.
you got a lot of space to build like your
Hover
super
bike.
bike.
Yeah.
And then Pike's quarters looks like like the Four Seasons penthouse.
And even Spock's quarters has enough room to like dance in.
Yeah, he's doing like taekwondo and shit in
Mhm.
there, and and dancing. And I'm like, man, like I don't remember. Like I feel like the original Enterprise was pretty much built like more like a submarine. Like everything was like it's a pretty small ship
Compact. Yeah.
comparatively to the Enterprise D, right? Like the Enterprise D is like
Very.
built to be more like a space yacht, where like the original Enterprise I feel like was a bit more like cramped, military-ish,
Mm-hmm.
quarters wise. So it's really interesting to see the spatial dynamics, especially too when they show like the warp engine or the engineering and how like vast it is. I don't know. I'm actually really. I'd like to see a diagram of like quarter space, and I'd like to see some thinking. I want a technical
Oh.
It
manual.
would be cool to
I
see a
mean,
layout
I know
of
that-
what these two ships look like as they're built now, and the spatial differences.
I know of a
like, side by
documentary you
side.
can watch with some stats on it.
Oh, really? Of comparing like this Enterprise. Oh, documentary. Yeah. Nice. Well played.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh man, gosh.
I am not here for it. All right, so what do you think, Drew? What do you think this episode brings to the story? Does it bring anything?
I listen. If it brings this was Beto's last episode, then I'm here for it. If he like ships off and goes back home and makes documentaries for other ships that we never see, then so be it.
What
I
if he
think,
gets shipped off to the Farragut?
yeah, yeah. Ouch. Kirk's like, I don't know what happened to him. He stepped out of an airlock.
He got space tubed.
Yeah. We had to
Weird.
use the airlock decompress to get out of this, really terrible thing, and it just happened to be that he was
He
in
was in a
there.
documentary filming and
Uh,
didn't go
forgot.
well for him. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows, right? This didn't feel like this felt almost like a bottle episode in a way where like we're just gonna like pick it up with where the trend we were on before, which was really good, and then we had this like really not so great episode. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer to this question.
So we're
It
gonna
doesn't
pull
feel
it
like
in.
this really.
We're gonna put it into a bottle, like a ship in a bottle, and then chuck it like a football because it's coming to be football season into the ocean, and then we'd never have to see it again.
Yes, yes. If that's yeah, or you know what would be cool if like someone recut this episode, like
Mm-hmm.
and took out all like the bad interview stuff and just showed like the condensed like cool space moth stuff as like a standalone episode. I think that could work.
I agree.
Like a recut, like a re-edit.
Tim, what did you think the episode brings to the story overall of season 3?
Well, after listening to Drew, not much. No, honestly, I think if we're gaining anything from this episode, is it's very small things. There's a couple of them, but we're seeing that Ortegas is still struggling with the Gorn issue. We're seeing finally what Beto's necessity for being on the ship was, because for 4 episodes I was completely lost why that dude was there. He was more filler than anything in the episodes that he was in. We see I do. The one thing I did appreciate about this is that they showed that it wasn't easy because whenever we've watched Star Trek before and orders are given, now there's been episodes before where somebody's struggling with the mission at hand, and they struggle with the humanity of it and what they're doing and why. But I really did appreciate the fact that they kind of showed it from the top down, that everybody kind of had an uneasy feeling about this mission and how it was going about. But I also appreciate how they showed how it was handled by Pike and leadership from top down. So I do appreciate that about it. I would like to see 2 things, Drew, to kind of piggyback off your thought about the recut. I would like to see a true documentary style done. If you're going to do a documentary style episode, make it a true documentary style episode. Don't cut back and forth. That's confusing, I think, to the audience, and it becomes it's easy to become disenchanted with it, which clearly happened for all 3 of us. And I would love to see this episode recut, and I think there's some usable parts from the documentary vision or video rather that could be put into the regular episode. Like, okay, hey, even the bad top down bridge scene would still be usable in a regular style episode, because it would be like, oh, hey, we're under attack and this is happening, and and we're on minimal support.
That would be a cool shot to have,
right? In that context, but the context of I got kicked out the bridge, so they let me use this video. It just, I don't know. It didn't add to the flavor of the video for me. I think what we have here is what we've seen a lot happen in the first couple seasons of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, and especially in this season, where we get 1 or 2 good episodes, then we get a filler episode, which doesn't really add a lot to the story, but it puts something out there on the air and everything else. And I'm okay with filler episodes to a certain degree, but this one, there's some struggle with it. And to not put too fine a point on it, they needed to pick a lane, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that any of this writing has anything to do with the writers' strikes that happened? Is this the era of TV that we're in, or has that passed already?
I don't know. I think that's passed a bit. I think this season took a long time to come out. Like I think it over a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was only a year, but I'll check.
Well,
I could be wrong. It might have just felt like that. I just remember like Strange New World season was this 2 ended, and I remember we still had to wait like another 6 to 8 months until Discovery came out, and then Discovery went through its run, and then Lower Decks did its final season, and then they said it was going to be another 5 to 6 months until this Stranger World. So it's at least been over a year. I know
You're right.
for
It was actually June of 2023 when season two premiered.
yeah. So I guess if you're going to take that long in between seasons, I I just feel like your scripts need to be fucking incredible.
Stick the
Like
landing.
yeah, like I don't like the first two seasons felt like, hey, we're really trying to be like a prestige Star Trek show, like really great drama mixed with great sci-fi storytelling, blending in the Star Trekness of like moral dilemmas and relating it back to real world conflicts and stuff like that. And I was here for that. And this season, I feel like it feels more like I'm watching like an ABC TV show, right? It feels more like something like I'd watch on cable, especially when they're doing like weird tropes like this documentary
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like I brought up The Rookie because it feels like I'm watching like an episode of of cable television, right? This doesn't feel like prestige streaming. This doesn't. I don't know. It just feels like a gimmick rather than like really nailing the story, really spending the time to get the story right rather than like bump sliding in this gimmick to make it feel like we're doing something fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't want
That's a
that. I'd
good
rather
point.
have really great episodes that without these like interesting without these gimmicks. And I'm okay with one or two here and there, like
Right.
yeah, like the singing episode was fine. Like
Yeah, I
I, I
liked it actually.
I didn't think it was bad. Like I think it was really well written. I think the songs were good. No, Tim, it's not your thing, right? And maybe
Yeah,
that's
you're
where
not
this
a
episode
musical person.
and maybe that's where this episode falls for a lot of people. Maybe a lot of people like this episode. Maybe we just don't like this type of storytelling. But I think I would like less of Star Trek Strange New Worlds trying to do these weird tropes, these weird gimmicks, and more focused on just telling great stories within the framing of the world we're in. Right?
Mm.
I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. If we're gonna get episodes like this and these big swings moving forward, they either got to really nail it, or I think we got to stop doing it.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my overall critique on what they're trying to do here. I'm all for big swings, but if we're not going to nail them, and we're not going to, especially if we're taking over a year and a half to come up with new seasons, like I think we need to spend more time in the writers' room and less time, looking up gimmicks
Yeah,
on
it's
how to film
harming
stuff.
more progress of like
Yeah.
the I don't know, the Star Trek story that we all love.
I I'll be honest with you. I was worried about this season coming off the strike and how long it took for it to all get here. And a lot of shows that have come off the strike, they're writing for their episodes coming off of the strike and into their new season. If we're being honest, across the board, the writer's strike affected so many things in
They did,
production
yeah.
of everything, and that's fair. It's I understand, and I have nothing against anybody who struck, and they should have, because they that's a whole nother topic. Anyway, long and short,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
nothing. I just didn't know if that
But
maybe had something to
oh, I
do
think
with
it
the
does. I think it does. I
writing.
mean, if you're looking at this, I mean, a lot of shows that are kind of in this crux of, it took a while to get the next season up and going because of the time it takes for production and everything else, for the writing and everything else. I don't think that they had a lot in the hopper probably before before the strike happened, and then after the strike was done, which, because that
Mm-hmm.
went on for a while. When that was all done, trying to get more material up and going, I think it affects what we're looking at, what we're seeing, what we're hearing, all these different things. And I would have loved to have seen some of these, maybe, I don't know, go through a second or third purview where somebody can go, hey, so great idea. I really I like what you're doing here, where you're going with this, but maybe we need to adjust this or this, because it's getting a little in the weeds on a couple of these episodes, and this is one of those episodes where it's a little in the weeds, and it's either going
Mm-hmm.
to stick or it's not. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I think in a world where there used to be 20 plus Star Trek episodes a season, I'd be like, whatever, sure. right? Do one of these episodes, what is it? DS9 did something like this in the Pale Moonlight kind of vibe, where
Mm-hmm.
like Nog gets his leg, shot, and he loses his leg, and it's kind of done in a docu, not quite to this level,
Yeah, that's
but there's
true.
but there's like shots that are like kind of like that, and from that vein, and but so again, this not like they've never done anything like this before, so I'm not mad at them for going this approach. I guess I just there's not a lot of room for bad quality, right? When you
No.
only have like an 8 to 10 episode season, you kind of want everyone to be a banger,
Yeah, that's
right?
what Jake and I were talking about last night. It's like, yeah, we only have 3 more episodes,
Yeah,
Well,
and this
so,
is what we're left with right now.
okay, so
yeah,
I'm going to use this. This is part of the reason why I'm struggling with the streaming era, and I know this is a whole different tangent, and I'm not going to go too deep in the weeds here because we're here to talk about Star Trek. But this is a problem across the streaming era where we've gone from 20 episodes, 22 episodes in a season. We're scaling back down to 8 episodes, 10, 12 episodes at most for a season, but we're only getting a handful of decent episodes out of those 8 to 10. Most shows are not sticking consistent run times. Where there's an issue here with the streaming era that really needs to be addressed, and clearly it's not going to get fixed today with our discussion. But there needs to be somewhere, somehow, there needs to be um, a change of direction with streaming and how things are happening, because we're getting episodes that just seem and feel lost. This was a problem, um, in if we talk about that other franchise, Star Wars. Um, that's been a big problem in the Star Wars universe with everything that's happened when with Disney Plus with their streaming, and you're getting you get 10 episodes, 8 episodes, only 3 or 4 of them are really strong and really good. The rest are all fillers and just kind of, well, we're kind of going through the motions. And this to me is what this feels like. This episode is a going through the motions episode. It was like, well, we put it out because we needed an extra episode on the season, and not we had a really great idea. Um,
Yeah, I agree with you, and I have a couple of things to say to that actually. Excuse me. One of them is I was just thinking about this because I started watching Gilmore Girls on Netflix and I've never seen it, and I know that's a lot to take in. I understand, but there are like 22, 23 episodes in one season, and so it started, and they were 45-minute episodes because that meant they were an hour on cable television. For you youngsters who didn't know, we used to have commercials, but
Back in my day.
no, right. But the thing is, it's like it says season one, it was like 24 episodes. So it made me start thinking, it's like, well, yeah, because seasons were called seasons because it was one full story broken apart through a couple of seasons of actual seasons of Earth. Like it started in the fall, and then there could be a mid-season break in the winter, and then it started in the spring, and that was your season one. And streaming is really what changed that format, which is how we also got to this limited number of seasons and in these drops, or limited number of episodes. And the other thing that I wanted to say to that is, as much as I hate to say it, I think Game of Thrones season 8 is what kind of kicked that stuff off, because Game of Thrones was held to such a high standard, and I liked season 8. We're not getting into that at all. But I do think it opened the door for seasons to be shortcoming of episodes and content, because we're used to 10 season episodes of Game of Thrones. Episode 9 is always the penultimate that has the major thing happen, that then on the episode 10 you're understanding the fallout of that. And so when season 8 came out and there were only 6, 7 episodes and it faltered for a lot of people, I think that opened the door for other shows that might be less prevalent to be like, hey, we could get away with 7 or 8 episodes instead of filling a full 10 episode thing, and save some money, save some writing, and I think that really might have opened the door for that, unfortunately.
I can see that. I can see that.
yeah. I mean, from a studio's perspective, just to give you guys like POV, like
Yeah,
the the
please.
the the the, the insight is like we're going to spend the same amount of money that would cost us to do 24 episodes, but only do 12, right? So you're going to put more, you get more money per episode. which means you can do you have higher quality television,
And you
right? So
do.
so
And
so
you totally do.
yeah, so it's not that it's they're saving money necessarily on doing 12 episodes. Some seasons of prestige television, like if you take like I don't know, like something like Alien Earth maybe, or like Game of Thrones is a rare example, but like of an extremely
Mhm.
expensive TV show. But some TV shows like in the prestige era are hyper expensive per episode. You're talking like 10
Well,
12
The Last of
million.
Us had an insane budget.
Yeah, yeah, Last of a great example. Like of a super like, but then again, so therefore you expect every episode to be great. Like,
Hmm.
not only look great,
Mhm.
but be the storytelling needs to be great. And I think that's the problem. And we started out in an era where that was the case. You started out with like what really kicked off the streaming thing was Kevin Spacey's
House of
Netflix
Cards.
House of Cards. That was the kickoff. That's what started really and that was a show that only had like a limited number of episodes, and every episode was fucking great, like
Yeah.
insane great. And then Game of
Quality.
Thrones was like followed, and you had like other Sopranos,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So Mad Men was cable
Well,
on
Sopranos was
Netflix.
before House of
Yeah, that's
Cards,
true. Yeah, Sopranos was before
yeah.
that. So yeah, it's kind of it's just it's an unfortunate thing, but I think it's set up this expectation of if you're going to do a limited run, it's got to be great, right? And especially if you're going to take a long
Yep.
time between seasons, it's got to be great. So I think if you're going to do big swings and have episodes like this, that's great, but it's got to be great. And if or otherwise, let's do cheaper. Let's do cheaper and more,
Right.
and I'd be just as happy. I don't need it to be cinematic Star Trek. I just need Star Trek, right?
Right.
Like it doesn't need to look like a movie version of Star Trek on TV. I'm okay with TV Star Trek. I still go back and watch TV Star Trek, and I'm completely happy with not so great special effects like Doctor Who, for example. You know what I'm saying? Like it can still be kind of cheesy, and that's
And still
okay.
be good. Yeah.
And still be good. But
Hmm.
the writing's great. The
Right.
storytelling's great. And if you have a miss, that's okay too, because I got 18 more episodes to get through, right? And I'm pretty sure I can pull out 10 that are going to be great out of that 20 that you're going to air. So
Yes.
I agree with all of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, me too. And I think for that, we have all come to the conclusion that we are looking forward to a space adventure next week, I think.
I'm hoping in the back of my mind that somewhere out of this missed opportunity of this episode of What is Starfleet is that we launch from this into the next episode, and that we learn the purpose of this episode. That's what I'm hoping, is that we see that. I don't think it's going to happen,
yeah,
but I'm hoping.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's my dream upon a dream.
Well, I do want to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all for being here. Let's go ahead and end it with where folks can find you as always. Tim, I'm going to start with you.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm the host of the FSF Podcast and a contributor here at Couch Soup. But yeah, you can check us out. Come to Couch Soup and have some fun with us. All of us here like to write and do the things and talk nerdy and have fun. And but yeah, so there's a lot of fun to be had in Couch Soup. And at a moment of shameless self-plugging, come check out
Yes, I was going to say, you need to say it.
yeah, come check out our Star Wars RPG, which just given ranked in the top 10 of all Star Wars RPGs out there for podcasting, and we're very excited about that. And yeah, I'm that one kind of blew me away yesterday. So
So
yeah,
cool.
Congrats, bud.
yeah, thank you, thank you. We have a lot of fun over on the FSF podcast. Interview a lot of really cool people in our nerd community, including our very own PJ Haarsma. Had a really nice chat with him, about a year ago, before I started writing.
What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I kind of run things over here at Couch Soup. I'm the kind of editor in chief, and
He does.
the man behind the curtain is I'm
We're
the
all
puppet.
scared of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was doing this like I'm milking a cow. I don't know what that means, but I was like trying to do puppets.
Oh, it's
Uh,
going to get stolen.
yeah, it's gonna get stolen. That's the opening. That's the opening gif. But yeah, I mean, find us Couch Soup on everywhere you would like engage on the internet. We're on Letterboxd, guys. Come check us out on Letterboxd, doing reviews. We're on Rotten Tomatoes. We're on TikTok. We're on the Insta. We're on Facebook. So like you almost can't get away from Couch Soup. If you haven't heard of us, I'd be honestly surprised. But if you want to
We're
be a part of this
coming for
community,
you.
and yes, we're coming for you. Be our friend. Yes. But yeah, no, seriously, come check out the website, couchsoup.com. If you want to support shows like this that we're doing right now, or just support our writers that write every day, we'd love to have you as a member. Even if you can't afford to be a member now, we have like a free membership that just unlocks like cool things like ability to leave comments and get no ads and stuff like that on the website. So come check it out, couchsoup.com. And then once you're part of the community, you can DM me all you like, and we can nerd out on Star Trek, Star Wars, and aliens and all the fun stuff. So it'll be fun. And the rest of the people that nerd out, like these two fine folks, us as well.
Like me.
Yeah.
I have a lot of nerdy interests, but I was thinking I kind of need to stop doing watching now, because every time I do, the season starts going downhill. Decoding Dragons, man. House of the Dragon season 2 is terrible.
That actually explains a lot now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It explains
like,
so much.
Star Trek,
Yeah.
now Strange New Worlds season 3 is like being terrible. So maybe I just need to stop being part of
So
Couch Soup.
when it comes time to do like a watching now for Ahsoka season 2, Michelle, you are not to be involved.
I'm not. We're gonna be looking at putting together a Wednesday one-off as well. So I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe it'll make season 2 be second part of season 3 be terrible. But no, you can find me at Couch Soup also. Excuse me, I am the community manager. I write the weekly emails, newsletters. You can see my face a lot if you do join in as a member, because we do some member Zooms, some member AMAs. We just have a
Those
really
are fun.
good time, literally nerding out about shit, and it's a great
It's a
time.
lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, if you're listening to this, we're also doing an Alien Earth watching now review of each episode of Alien Earth coming out right now. Go check that out. That comes out like around the same time as this episode airs, or this episode comes out. So if you're liking this conversation, you're probably going to even like the other conversation more, because Ian's running that show, and he's a huge Alien nerd, and he's got Katie on that show, and Lily, and they're nerding out hardcore on Alien Earth. So if you're like watching Alien Earth like I am, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Those guys kind of help you break it all down and give you or also feeling the same feelings that you're probably feeling, which is like, what's going on here? Why are there aliens on Earth? So they're answering those questions and having those deep conversations over there too. So go check that out if you don't mind too.
Nice.
Yeah, that one is killing it on YouTube too, by the way.
Yeah, it's doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good.
But yeah, so that's it for now, guys. Let's continue to discover new life, new civilizations, and we will initiate shutdown sequence from here. Live long and prosper, and keep it tuned into Couch Soup for more Star Trek goodness.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Okay, bye.